Morning, everybody. I think the beeping of Teams telling me people are joining seems to have slowed down, and as he says that, we get two beeps in a row. I am going to start. I'm aware that people are very busy. So quickly, thank you very much and welcome to our Supporting Vocational Training in Policing webinar. My name's David Heim. I'm Managing Director here at SFJ Awards. And today I'm joined by two of my colleagues, Sarah Hattersley and Chelsea Littleton-Harper. I appreciate you're all very busy. It's Friday. We've got weekends ahead of us, so I'm not going to keep you too long, and we're going to try and get through this. So the sooner we start, the sooner we finish. So basic housekeeping. You'll see that your cameras and your microphones are currently off, but we really are wanting to appreciate any questions that you've got. So please use the Q&A function in Teams. If there are any questions that we can't answer, we will get back to you and we'll publish those, but we're going to have a Q&A at the end of this session anyway. Contact details for the speakers will be published at the end, and all information for all people who've attended this webinar will be sent to you, as well as a watch on demand link. So, SFJ Awards, who are we? Well, we're a leading specialist awarding organisation for the policing sector. We're nationally recognised and regulated by Ofqual, and we work with the majority of police forces across the UK, many of whom are on this call today. At SFJ Awards, we're committed to quality in everything we do. The accuracy, validity and reliability of our assessment practices means that there is confidence in the assessments and the qualifications that we produce. Our vision is to improve lives through better skills, better jobs, ultimately in order to help you guys deliver better services. It's a mission we share with our parent company, the Workforce Development Trust, and our sister organisation, who most of you will be aware of, is Skills for Justice, who are the Sector Skills Council for the justice sector, formed in 2004. So pretty much you could argue that skills development is part of our DNA. So I said I wouldn't keep us long, and so that's it from me. I'm going to move straight to the agenda. So first part of the session, we're going to cover what's included in the diploma, how does the diploma support vocational training, Chelsea's going to lead on that. We're going to move after that into what is accelerated approval process, and then we're looking at what is the recognition of prior learning process for PCEP. And then, as I mentioned, we'll have a Q&A afterwards. So I'll move straight over to Chelsea.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David, and good morning, everybody. So as we've ascertained, my name is Chelsea and I work with the product development team here at SFJ Awards, and I'm here today to introduce you to the SFJ Awards Level 5 Diploma in Professional Policing Practice. A qualification that's been developed to sit beside and support the College of Policing's Police Constable Entry Programme, or PCEP. The Level 5 diploma was developed in close collaboration with numerous police forces. So when we say that our qualification was designed with you in mind, we really do mean that. The qualification was developed with forces, for forces. By working with police forces and forging this partnership, we've been able to ensure that the qualification is precisely tailored to meet the operational needs of policing, delivering a robust, purpose-built programme that aligns with the practical demands of the role. I suppose the important question, and the one probably on everybody's mind, why use this qualification? What is its wider purpose? What is it bringing to the table? And so with that in mind, I just want to run through some of the key aims. So our qualification is fully aligned to the College of Policing's curriculum. So it's mapped directly to the IPS and the FOC frameworks. So your independent patrol status and your full occupational competence. And it's been designed to support and reinforce those standards. There's a real focus in our qualification on vocational learning, which I'll go into a little bit more detail about shortly. The qualification essentially prepares learners for that professional, ethical service within a real-world policing environment. One of the key considerations in developing this qualification was to make it as simple and as streamlined as possible for forces to utilise. So the qualification has been designed to ease the assessment burden by leveraging existing evidence simplifying the integration into your current processes. So instead of adding more paperwork to your workloads, it's about utilising the evidence that forces are already producing as proof of achievement. Unlike the counterparts, so the academic demands of routes such as PCDA, this qualification aims to add value without creating that additional administrative burden for those who use it. And finally, whilst the College of Policing's PCEP entry route does not result in a regulated credential, by utilising our qualification alongside the College of Policing's curriculum, we're able to formally recognise the achievements of all of the police constable trainee learners who will receive a certificate that validates that dedication and hard work that they've put in throughout that entry programme. If we can move to the next slide, please. Perfect, thank you so much. So next we'll have a look at the overall structure of the qualification. So the qualification is a 2-year programme that focuses on areas such as practical policing skills, community engagement and incident response. And it enables learners to become fully qualified police constables more quickly than other routes such as PCDA. And it also offers a more accessible entry route into policing for those who might not hold a degree and therefore can't utilise entry routes such as DHEP. Our units, as I said, are structured around the College of Policing's criteria for IPS and FOC. However, whilst the college's curriculum consists of 15 key areas, you'll note on the screen that ours is broken down into 10. And that is simply because while we were putting the curriculum together, there were areas we felt there may potentially be a bit of duplication or areas we felt fit under multiple different subjects. And that is areas such as your code of ethics or your core local learning. So those are woven throughout those 10 units, almost like a golden thread that pulls that qualification together, ensuring that comprehensive educational experience that aligns with the national policing standards. If you've had a look at our qualification handbook, and if you haven't seen it, we can provide a copy afterwards. You'll note that the assessment criteria within is very clearly mapped against the college's curriculum, so you can see how they fit together and how they support one another. And finally, the qualification's made up of a total of 240 credits. So that's 120 credits at level 4 and 120 credits at level 5, which offers that balanced and integrated learning experience that supports progression and depth of knowledge and skills across the levels. So when the learner completes that qualification, they'll achieve an overall level 5. We can move to the next slide, please. Thank you. So one of the key considerations when developing this qualification was that we and the forces involved did not want it to become too academically heavy. And so there was a real emphasis on vocational learning and its importance to learners. So the level 5 diploma has been designed to be holistically assessed, which ensures that all aspects of learning and achievement are taken into consideration, and that provides that comprehensive evaluation of a learner's capabilities. It's designed to provide an assessment experience that merges the theoretical knowledge with the practical hands-on learning that's essential for effective policing. And finally, through evidence-based demonstrations of competence, learners are able to engage in active learning that fosters immediate skill application. So it's about ensuring they're well prepared to meet the dynamic demands of modern policing. So really this qualification is about crafting competent constables and not brilliant essay writers. Move to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. So in summary, and before I hand you back over to David, just to recap really on the overall key points. Purpose-wise, it's been developed collaboratively with police forces to support professional and ethical service. It's aligned to the College of Policing's curriculum, so your IPS and FOC frameworks. It's been structured into 10 clear units with 240 credits, and those units emphasise that vocational hands-on learning. It's holistically assessed, so it combines your theory with your practical application to ensure that real-world competence. And the outcome, it's a qualification pathway that reduces the assessment load on forces and formally recognises the achievements of all police constable trainees. This really is a significant development for the policing sector, and I think it reinforces our commitment to supporting the next generation of police officers. I'll hand you over to David now, who will start the next section of the webinar, but thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. Just as a quick reminder to anybody, if you've got any questions, please do use the Q&A section within Teams, and we'll pick those up at the end. If I can now hand over to Sarah, who's going to pick up what's the accelerated approval process.
Good morning, all. So in order to make it as accessible as possible and easy for you to get approved for this qualification, we've put in a fast track approval process. So as part of the pack that you receive after this webinar, you'll see that there will be a document in as per the picture there. That document will be the application form for those that are looking for fast track approval. So in order to be approved, you must be an SFJ Awards approved centre. And for those forces that may be interested that aren't currently a centre with us, we can also look at a fast track centre approval process, which we can discuss on a one-to-one basis depending on what information you've got already and what we would then require from yourselves. But for this particular qualification, we'd be looking for the form to be that it will be attached to be completed. Where possible, a copy of your College of Policing approved QSA report, and then staffing details of any new assessors or IQAs that aren't already on the SFJ Awards system and haven't been approved for any other programmes, such as the Diploma in Policing. So anybody new over and above what you already have on the system. If for any reason you don't have a QS report, or you are not a force and you're looking to gain approval for the qualification, you would then go through a standard approval process, which would be a CTR 10 application form, scheme of work, sample assessment materials, and then staffing details for all assessors and IQAs. It is very rare that we will probably see this, but there are possibly some people on the call, people such as colleges that may wish to use the qualification, but it may be unlikely. So depending on if you're a force, obviously you've got the option of both routes. We would probably look for most to be fast-tracked, but the other option is there if necessary. But if anybody has any questions, it will be myself that will be going through the initial approval application forms with you all. So you'll be able to have a conversation and we can arrange a meeting if need be. So it's quite a simple, straightforward process and quite a quick one that your EQAs would then be working with you on to make sure that we get it on the system for you as soon as possible. I'm going to hand back to David now, who will hand over to Chelsea, I believe, for the next section. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Looking at the Q&A, we've still not had any questions, which is fine, but don't forget to use it if you do need to. Chelsea, if you can carry on with the last section.
Yeah, no problem at all. So I'll just run through the RPL process really and a bit of information about that. So we know that many learners might already be well into their current programme of study, and we fully appreciate the effort and the progress that they've already made. And so with this in mind, we've developed a new policy specifically for this qualification that recognises the importance of that prior learning. This policy allows for up to 100% of the qualification criteria to be achieved through recognition of prior learning. This means that if learners have already demonstrated the required skills and knowledge, they're able to bring this forward as evidence against the qualification without having to repeat content. To support you in the process, we've created a comprehensive mapping document, a screenshot which can be seen on the webinar slide. The resource is designed essentially to just help you easily map the existing evidence to the requirements of our qualification. It's not set in stone, however, and we are also happy for you to use your own internal documentation, provided that it just clearly shows how that evidence aligns with our criteria. We understand that there might be opportunities for learners to potentially switch the entry route that they're working on and move to the PCEP route. Therefore, the RPL towards the level 5 diploma will be handled on a sort of case-by-case basis, and that's because each learner's experience is unique. And while the core principles of policing are similar across all of the routes, the exact curriculum and assessment methods might differ slightly. So by taking a tailored approach and leveraging the expertise of our EQAs, we can ensure that learners moving on to the PCEP route and onto this level 5 diploma have their prior learning fairly recognised and are essentially set up for success in completing this programme. This approach not only maintains the high standards for the level 5 diploma, but it also supports that broader goal of creating flexible and inclusive pathway into policing, allowing learners to focus on new learning rather than having to revisit areas that they've already mastered. I mean, as we've said, we're here to support you through the process, and it's really about making it as simple and as streamlined and as easy as possible for you to transition over to. So please do reach out if you have any questions. You can use the Q&A section, and I'll hand back over to David.
Thank you very much. Looking at the Q&A section, at the moment, there is nothing in there, though I have seen the odd hand go up and down. So if you've got any questions, if you could put them into the Q&A, and we'll look to address them that way. I'll give it a minute in case somebody needs to type something. I did promise that we'd try and keep this concise on a Friday morning. And this is me filling now while we see if we do get any questions coming in. So the first question we've got, Chelsea. This person's saying they're new to this world. To some extent. Do we need to be a level 5 to teach at level 5, or do you need to be level 6 to teach at level 5? And you're on mute, Chelsea.
Good start. So there is actually a section in our qualification handbook that breaks down the assessor requirements for this particular qualification, and that's because they are slightly different to typical qualifications, and that is to do with so your IPS and your FOC. So the qualification is almost split into two areas. So your assessor requirements are essentially to cover the IPS, so to cover the independent patrol status. We just need somebody who was competent, had the knowledge and experience of the role, who were able to confirm that learners had demonstrated sufficient competence. However, when we move to the FOC, so the full occupational competence, that's where the assessor requirements bump up slightly. So we'd be looking for people who are occupationally knowledgeable across the range of units, who engage in continuous professional development, who are occupationally competent, working in the sectors relating to the units, and are able to interpret and make judgments on current working practices and technologies within the area of their work. We don't have specific requirements in terms of you have to have a specific level of qualification to assess. However, we do think that it's good practice for assessors to be qualified or working towards a recognised assessor qualification. And those are listed within the handbook. So there's a list of the accepted sort of qualifications that we'd look for. But as I say, it's not essential. It's good practice to have that.
Chelsea. Sarah, we've been asked a couple of questions around the cost of registration for each student.
Yeah, so the costings for registration up until the 1st of April, we are holding the same price as the Diploma in Policing, so it would be £89 per learner. From the 1st of April, because of the nature of the qualification and the way it's being built, it will then be £110 per learner.
Have we got any more questions before we finish? So thank you very much for everybody that's attended. Thank you very much for those that have asked questions. Thank you especially to Sarah and Chelsea for covering this for us. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And if you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.